Hey, everybody. Today is Monday, July 5th. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We hope you had a good one. We hope you had some fun doing whatever it is you like to do. And one of the things me and K-Pro like to do are go live and talk about the Forrest Fenn Treasure Found. So how are you, K-Pro?
I'm good. I have just recovered from a long birthday weekend.
Ooh,
Um,
look at that
in-
right there. Ooh,
yeah, in case you guys
right.
didn't know, you want to show them what you got, Mike?
Yeah, I got a graded comic 9.8, not 9.6, not 9.7, 9.8 Hulk versus Thor. So thank
You
you
know
to
what I
K-Pro
thought?
for that
I
one.
thought I need to get Mike something that I will never let him buy otherwise and not buy normally. That's what Christmas and birthdays are about. So that's what we did.
You got some board games, we'll play with the kids, little treasure hunt stuff. You know what I mean? Little escape room type stuff. So we'll
Yeah,
check that
it
out.
was fun. I had a new Detroit hat.
Yeah.
But Eric had a blast. He turned 8. He's right at that like tipping point that he's a big boy kind of thing. So I think this was our last like Chuck E. Cheese extravaganza.
Hey,
But it
Albert.
was fun. It was a fun. So anyway, that's what I did this weekend. And so then I literally woke up today and guess what I did? It's 118 here. I went directly to the pool.
Kids are in the pool right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but I wanted to before anybody else. You have 12 kids in a pool, teenagers. No, I don't want to hang out with them. So anyway, they're nice people though. So
So Adam says, fasten your seatbelt. Here comes another theory and another patented K-Pro PowerPoint. But this theory makes sense. I don't see how too many people can disagree with this one. But you know what? Probably the 6 people that thumbs down already probably will, no matter what.
Oh, they're not even coherent right now. They already had too many. But here's the big thing. So I want to go over, because some people were asking about the lawsuits. I would just want to briefly go over the active lawsuits since a few more have been filed recently. So we'll go over those brief. And then I do have a theory. And we'll go over that theory. And then I did not talk to one attorney, not 2, not 3, but 4 attorneys based on this theory of why Jack cannot reveal the search location. That kind of makes sense. It makes me not.
How many lawyers did you talk to?
4 lawyers.
Wow. All
4,
right.
and I did, you know what though? I got 4 different responses, which is kind of funny, kind of crazy. So that'll be interesting. I put that in the PowerPoint. I even reached out to Jack. I may have reached out to Shiloh. I may have been a little gotten some other comments. So let's, without further ado, let's just jump in.
Well, I got to apologize because we did not go live last Thursday. Beacon Star Thursdays. I know Randy had one little tear. We were supposed to have Hillary and Tree on. They're in the chat. They're going to come on this Thursday. Beacon Star Thursday, we're going to actually talk about 2 other treasure hunts that have ended. There was one in LA. So Hillary and Tree, please come on with your kids and let's talk about it. And also Jana, and Jacob, the creator of the Hennepin County, Minnesota, come on Thursday and let's do that on Thursday. And then I promise we will get back to the Beacon Star. Too much going on in the treasure hunting.
And in case you didn't hear it, Utah, the one that I went and traveled for, it was solved. It was within a couple of miles of one of the 2 solutions I went and looked for. And last week I asked you guys, is there a way that those amendments or those statements by Forrest, where Forrest is not lying and Jack then is not the finder? I emailed and bantered with a couple of you, but nobody gave me any sort of information that would say, ooh, you're just saying Forrest is a liar. I'm not going with that premise. If anybody would say Forrest is telling the truth and the affidavit's wrong, or you're reading it wrong, or you're interpreting it wrong, because give me that. But right now, nobody's been able to. So right now, I'm going with Forrest's word until I can always change my mind no matter who tells me I can't. Yes, I can. And that's what I'm going with. So,
and shout out to Lou B, our pilot friend, who just sent me a new video he made, a little twist on the GPS theory. So let me watch it again, Lou, and really check it out. And then I'll email you back. And hey, maybe you come on the show. Maybe we share it to everybody. We'll see. That's your choice. It's your call because it's your theory. But I like it. It kind of makes sense. So anyway, we'll get into that on another show. Go back to the old GPS theory is okay with me.
oh boy.
All right, what are we going to do first tonight, Capro? First, I got to remind everybody, because I cut you off, Capro. I got to remind everybody super chat's on. Make sure you thumbs up and make sure you comment and subscribe. We've gained a couple subscribers. We've got 26 thumbs up. We're trying to get to that magical 5,000 number of subscribers. So we'll see. We'll see if we ever get there. But whether we get there or not, me and Capro will keep making videos because we like doing it and we like having fun. And we think maybe the location will come out, but maybe Jack's not going to tell us. And that's what Capro's PowerPoint's about. Capro's figured out a reason why, what I think is a legitimate reason why Jack may not ever tell the location, but I'll let Capro take it away. Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. And if you want, thumbs up. I don't want to say super check because I hate that damn soundboard.
What's that?
But you can't.
Actually, I had to get a new monitor. I don't have that set up. I can get it set up. The monitor went out on the command center, and now my mouse is acting a little wonky as well. But we'll get it figured out. Let me move. I got to move things around because I just looked up the new monitor literally minutes before we went live.
Okay. So thank you all for being here. Yeah, so let's go over the lawsuits first. These are going to be the active lawsuits that are filed. There's one that I think is pending, but I just put that pending. Who they're litigating against and what kind of the theory is behind it. I am not a lawyer. I don't know the terms and terminology. I might not get it exactly right, but the gist of it will be right. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
And this is the new lawsuit, right?
I sent you one PowerPoint.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, are we going to go over that first, or is that not part of this?
Yes.
Okay, because I found
if
not
you open
one,
the PowerPoint.
Not 2, but 3 articles that just came out today about the new lawsuit. Yeah. So I'll put those links in the chat. If anybody's like, what lawsuit? It's a guy in France. Come on, go ahead.
Okay, we just don't like the entire country. Okay.
What were we watching? Remember the TV show we were watching? I said, yeah, but it takes place in France. Remember?
Well, that was different. It was all in French and there were subtitles. And Mike's trying to get me into movies and he's picking the strangest movies. And it's like, not only was it like zombie alien killing, but it was all in French. Anyway, I'm not going to let him divert me from focusing on let's get you guys a quick update. So here we go. Lawsuits filed. So some of you think that Jack's waiting to sell the next slide. The treasure chest. Next slide, Mike. Because of lawsuits that are pending. Well, we have some new ones. Next slide, Mike.
Yeah. I didn't. What, did it go back?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So active cases right now. Sandu, there's some other people, but they are asking for $10 million, San Lazaro title, $1 million in punitive damages, all profits of TTOTC to go donated to a cancer fund.
Yeah.
And the treasure chest and all of its contents. So that this one was the one initially they asked for an attorney to be given to them, which is rare. Criminal cases, you can get representation, but not normally in civil. That was, the judge said, no, you can refile. They're representing themselves. So it's under the basis of fraud. The defendants are Zoe as a representative of the estate, San Lazaro, the holding company, I guess. Shiloh, I didn't put the name here because somebody said they finally found out who Goofy Old Guy was. If you guys weren't around before, Goofy Old Guy was a moderator. Dale said this guy Goofy came to him and said, can I revamp your site because it's really hard to deal with? And Dale said, yes, you can, and I'll give you all the proceeds and all the ad revenue. You just maintain it. A lot of people thought that was a little wonky, or was that actually like the case?
Hashtag wonky. Wonky mouse.
But it's odd to me that they call the moderator out of Dale's, but not Dale. So I don't know. I need the PowerPoint though, or I can't read it.
Oh, Albert thinks we misspelled Erskine, but whatever.
I probably did. And Jack and collected works. So all of them are named defendants in this case. If you want to see the entire 57 pages, I think it was, one was 40-ish, one was 57. You can go up on Thor. Goldilocks does magic. She puts the court listener, whatever link in. Yeah, it's quite a read. They use a lot of slang layman's terms that I wouldn't think that you would use, but I don't know a lot about lawsuits. So anyway, there you go. The second one, go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The second one, I'm just calling it the Europe, kind of like we had the Chicago lawsuit and we had Erskine. I called him the Colorado. I think I misspelled him. See, this is why I need to call it Colorado. We have one from Europe suing for the treasure chest and its contents, or $10 million. I think Jack would love these appraisals. $10 million.
Perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable.
And it is the first one, I believe, that says Forrest actually pulled the treasure chest. And that's what they're suing based off of. Interesting that the defendants are Forrest Fenn's estate. So that's that would be Zoe, Shiloh, Jack, and Dan Barbarisi.
Dan, they're going to sue him because he wrote a book about it.
Or he interviewed Jack. He's in the, I don't know. I'm not judging. I'm just stating facts.
Here's an article. I put this link in the, and this is about the guy. So the guy's name is Bruno Rafaz, is seeking 10 million. Everybody wants to see it. I put the link in the chat. It's just ridiculous to me, but that's me. Oh, and here's another one. Lawsuit alleges Fenn retrieved the treasure, kept the contents. Oh, here's another one. French treasure hunter sues Forrest Fenn's estate, claimed Fenn moved the loot. This guy's solve is in Colorado. That's all I got to say about that. All right. I'll put those links in the chat. You guys will read about it if you want. There's really no info.
So the Erskine one is kind of interesting. I probably spelled it wrong. I don't know. That's how much time I put together. I'm just trying to give you guys an update of the Sandow one was filed in the last month or two. The Europe one was just filed like this week, last week type of thing. The Erskine one has been around for a while. He was the one that sued and tried to put jurisdiction in Colorado. The judge not only said no, but then said, you must pay all lawyers' fees. And Erskine is, and I might not be pronouncing it right, he's actually appealing, but he's appealing based on, see, this is why, Mike, I said no kids and stuff. This is
I'm here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's bothering you. They wanted a pool party, guys. So, and I said, no, not when we're live. And they said, we won't bother Mike at all.
And now they're ordering pizza. I said, go ahead. You got your own money. Do what you got to do. So
great.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, So Erskine,
I told you I got a bad mouth. Something's going on.
So Erskine, the interesting one is he's actually appealing. He's appealing that the judge dismissed the case rather than transferred it to the correct jurisdiction. I don't, again, quite understand it, but he's in appeal. I think the judge came back and said, okay, you can appeal, but then we will continue to add lawyers' costs and fees and all of that. So he's not dipping his toe in the water. He's fully at the deep end of the pool. From what I understand, there's one more that's going to be filed, but this will be the last one that can be filed against the Fenn estate. The statute of limitations has ended, and there is an estate hearing based on several of these above. So if you have an estate and you file like Zoe did and said, any creditors, you need to come and call yourself out now, because if you don't, we're dispersing the rest of the estate, and you have a certain timeline. Well, that certain timeline is coming up, and one or more of these court cases have said, I'm a potential creditor, so do not allow them to disperse everything. And there is a hearing scheduled for that. It's July 22nd, I think. I don't understand the whole probate thing. I don't know if it is probate or a part of it. I don't know. That's as much information I have.
We do have some live audio from the judge, actually.
Well, I didn't know they made 9th place ribbons.
You people, you didn't find it. Jack found it, if you believe Forrest. Even if you don't believe Forrest, you didn't find it. So I don't really, it would be interesting to have somebody on that could coherently explain why they think they have a case to go to a law that they can win in court in a lawsuit. Because we get how many solves that say, I know this is it. And then we go through it and we go, that doesn't make any sense.
Well,
why do they think you're right? That's what I want to know.
So for me, I'm not going to focus as much on I was right, but when Forrest issued a poem, when Forrest said in his own words, I will release the solve. We've seen emails of that, et cetera. Now he changed his mind towards the end, but did he establish a contract when he put a poem out? He said there's a treasure chest out, and there is some potential for people to think there's fraud based on a guy who didn't want to come out, et cetera.
Okay.
So not based on I was right, but I spent money. You put the poem out.
But
that was your side of the contract. My side of the contract is I went boots on the ground. I spent money. I deserve a solution. I'm not saying I agree with it.
right.
I'm saying I can see that as a premise.
But
now that we
those
have
lawsuits that you just mentioned don't have that as the premise, do they? I thought
Correct.
those lawsuits said, I know the solution. It was in Colorado. It was here. It was there. And when I sent you the solution, you ended it. Why do those people think they're right? That's what I don't get. Everybody has a solution, then they think they're right. But why do they think they're the one person that was right where they're actually going to sue? Because you can't prove you're right. That's the point I don't get, but that's just me. So, okay. Yeah, so those are the lawsuits. It's just sad. It makes me not want to do a big treasure hunt, to tell you the truth, because it's just, but I think Forrest Fenn's poem was in a class of its own. I think if you, if you have codes and ciphers, you know the solution. But if you have a ambiguous poem like Forrest Fenn's, it could just fit in all 4 states. And that's the problem. People think they're right. They found a blaze, what they think's a blaze. If anything,
and they gave up a lot in their lives for it. I think your question about how can someone file it based on I was right, I think that's like a psychology answer. I think somebody's so invested in their particular solve, they've given up so much, they can't.
Right.
I don't know though. I mean, I don't know those particulars. I actually think a solid lawsuit would get us the solution, but
even then, even if Forrest or Jack was to come out with a solution, people aren't going to believe it. People are just going to say, nope, it's not my solution. So therefore it's not right. And they're lying.
93% of us would.
Yeah, right. There's always a 7%. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so let's move on. So that is where we're at with the current lawsuits. And that might be why, since Jack is named as a defendant, that he is not selling, because he has supposedly been kind of getting things appraised and ready for a little bit. So let's go.
Live audio from Jack.
Stop it.
That's to all the lawsuits right there. Okay. All right, let's go back to K-Pro's patented PowerPoint. Thumbs up for K-Pro's PowerPoint, everybody. Next one, right?
Yes.
Why Jack is not revealing the location or solution. K-Pro's silly theory. It's not silly. I don't think this one's silly.
I put that because some people are so crazy anytime I put a theory out. I'm going to say silly up front. So there's not 6 hours of hate videos and there's only going to be 2 because I call myself silly, you guys.
Oh, Nick Sparrow's got a good point. He says no lawsuit will ever stick because the Thrill of the Chase had no terms and conditions. It was a free for all. You could try and say the poem was a contract, but Nick's kind of right. There was no legalese. There was no terms and conditions. But maybe some lawyer is going to go the other way and say because there was no terms and conditions, that's an issue. But anyway.
Right. Absolutely. We are in we had litigious the subpoena that was already, that's what brought Jack's name out. So I don't think, it may not stick at the end, but there may be additional information, like the one lawsuit in Chicago. It was ultimately like withdrawn or dismissed or whatever. But because of that, Jack says because of that, that is why his name is out. So some of these lawsuits, I don't believe at the end of the day, they will get to the point that someone else will have the treasure chest, but we may have the solution because of it. We already have the name of the finder. I think we might get the solution or the location because of it.
Bill Cosby got freed, so anything can happen in our courts, right? That's a different show. Okay, let's get back to the PowerPoint. Why Jack is not revealing the location or solution. I believe that anybody out there, if you know K-Pro's theories, this one is not silly. Check it out. Email us. Let us know what you think. 3 possible reasons.
Comments. Yeah. Okay. So if you sit back and think, Jack is in a firestorm right now because he's not revealing, and Forrest was too, because he's not revealing the location and the solution. So if you sit back and think about it, what are the reasons? Is Jack just being a jerk? And he's like, I know what you don't. No, Billy Goat. Okay, that'll be the first one we'll go into. Yeah, and that's a technical term. That's actually a legal term, Nana Billy Goat.
You have a brain like a chick.
No, that was loud. Sorry.
The second is, would Jack lose the treasure chest based on whatever land it was on, etc.? I'm going to go over number 2. And then number 3, Jack would financially expose himself outside of the treasure chest. There's some other liability that may or may not be at play. So I'm going to go in order. So let's go to the first. And again, this is my opinion.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, the soundboard, there's no.
He is a jerk, no good real reason.
So option 1, he is a jerk, no good real reason. Well, Jack,
Texas James, that's right. Good point. Go ahead.
Jack has been communicating with searchers for the past 7 or so months since he was quote unquote outed. He conducted an interview and gave Dan a lot of information that we normally would not have had if he wasn't outed. The interviewer has signed with a documentarian and is in a documentary that is going to give additional things out. I don't know if he will now that Dan's been put in a lawsuit. And Jack has been putting out Jackets Mail 1, 2, 3, Medium articles, all of that. So it seems to me that there's more evidence than not that there's not any good reason Jack's just being the nanny neener Billy Goat theory does not seem to hold water. So I've ruled it out. But what do you think, Mike? The whole like Jack has no reason at all theory?
Oh, and I think if Jack was just like, hey, I found it, I want to be left alone, leave, he would never put his email address out. We never would have heard of him again after the one Medium article or two Medium articles. There wouldn't be a Jack Gets Mail. So he's not that bad guy. He is saying, you know what, guys, I can't reveal the solution, but I'll try and answer your questions as best I can, which is what he's been doing, right? We've had shows on it about Jack.
And that's what I'm saying. But some people are like, can we really rule out he's not a jerk? I'm not saying, in general, I'll say the jerk slash, just the theory that he's doing it for no reason. Right. I do not believe. So that's number one. So now, we got a super chat. 3D.
Super chat. All right, here. 3D Bronze. You guys know 3D Bronze. There's a little website called 3dbronze.com. There it is. I'm going to put 3D Bronze's YouTube channel in the chat. Here you go, 3D Bronze. All right, we know what that's from. 3D Bronze with the $3 super chat says, I heard Jack will reveal his solve when I get to 1K subs. So there is 3D Bronze's YouTube channel. He does absolutely free treasure hunts. Tell me why, tell me who, tell me what for, maybe be the next one, I'm not sure. So go check out 3D Bronze. Okay. So yeah, I don't think that Jack is just being a jerk. I don't think Jack is just not, I'm not going to tell anybody just because I don't want to tell anybody. I think there's a reason. I can agree with that.
Okay, so number one's ruled out. So let's go to number two.
Your audio went down. I don't know why.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. There you go.
So that always happens. I'm ready for it now. Okay, so number two is Jack would lose the treasure chest. I am now going to make one big assumption for the rest of this presentation that let's go with national park. If we say that, because this is the foundation of some of the conclusions that I'm going to have. So let's say that Jack, so would he lose the treasure chest to the national park if it was found in a national park and he found it? So first, Forrest said there's no issue with ownership. And I kind of believe Forrest. Up to and including in our November 19 interview, which he said that what if there is no legal issue?
Right.
So I'm giving you the actual lost property, whether it's lost or abandoned. Here's two scenarios. And this is what I put in bold. If Jack would have claimed it and handed it over to the
park ranger,
they have 60 days and they do one of two things. They will try to find the owner. If they found Forrest, they would have given it to Forrest. Forrest would have given it to Jack. If they turned it in and they couldn't find Forrest after 60 days, it becomes Jack. So there's more evidence than not. We've got to rule this one out because Jack, whether it would have been delayed by 2 months, he doesn't even care about it anyway, being in his possession. He wouldn't have had 2 months of storage filing fees.
So what you're saying is wherever it was found, there is a legal way that Jack could have illegally taken ownership of it, whether it had to give somebody and then Forrest says, yes, it was mine, give it to him, or returns it to Forrest like he did. And Forrest said, now I give it to you. You don't think that the ownership issue of the land, you don't think that's the reason why Jack will not reveal the solution?
Correct.
Okay.
Based on
it's legally his. Okay.
Both loss and abandon statutes seem to ultimately get it back to Jack. So if in both cases it gets back to Jack, we can't really say it's because of.
So we don't believe that Jack is going to lose the treasure chest if he gives the location. That's what you're saying, right?
Something's going on with my microphone now. The other way they're saying too loud. So hold on.
Okay. Did get a super chat from Chasing Indy. The $4 super chat in your face, 3D Bronze, says at 3D Bronze, Dwight Schrute. So this relates to 3D Bronze's Tell Me Who. She thinks the Friends episode with Dwight Schrute had to do with something about it. She just hit me with that before we went live. 3D Bronze gave the answer, and I don't think it was Dwight Schrute, unless it's a joke. But anyway, thank you for the super chat, guys. We appreciate it. Okay. So that's 1 and 2. We don't think Jack's being a jerk, and we don't think there's a legal issue with him owning the treasure chest.
Right.
Okay.
Nomadic Man, is Team Cynthia still looking for the chest location? Do they think the chest is still out there? You will need to ask them because I think they're planning February, right? So
ask Team Cynthia, because I don't think me and K-Pro are on Team Cynthia anymore from things I've heard. So you'll have to ask her.
Wonk, wonk, wonk. But
Hey, it is what it is.
We wish them luck.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, let's go into the third theory that may or may not.
Sorry, Chasing Indy says The Office, not Friends. Dwight Schrute is The Office, not Friends. I don't know why I got that mixed up. Okay. And K-Pro's like, why are we talking about The Office? All right. And here it is, everybody. Here's the breaking news.
I don't know if it's breaking news.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting news, if not breaking news.
Okay. Okay. So the third one is Jack would be financially exposed outside of losing the treasure chest.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go with what the premise is. Let me tee it up, and then I'm actually going to show you a statute. If Jack were to announce the treasure chest location, is there a statute that could hold him liable if others damage property or the location, or simply make it a tourist attraction and that area is not equipped to be one? That's the first set of questions that I'm thinking to myself.
Okay.
The second, would this statute have come out after Forrest already saw his attorney the first time before he started the hunt? But remember when he went back to an attorney in 2015-16? So I'm looking for a statute that would have started after 2010, but before 2015, that would say specifically if that person or someone else damages the location because of that person. If that is the reason, they can be held liable. So you got to start doing some searching. And
K-Pro, did you find one?
I found one. The National Park Statute chapter. Remember when he talked about subchapters? Chapter 1007, subchapter 2, System Unit Resource Protection. And it was enacted, put into effect December 19th, 2014. Now, I'm going to.
This would have been after the chase started, before he went to the attorney the second time. Okay, so it fits that parameter anyway. Okay.
Right. Now, I'm going to give you guys the actual legal mumbo jumbo, and then I'm going to give you kind of my layman's terms of what it means. And then I'm going to give you 4 attorneys' opinions. Can Jack be held liable? And then I'm going to give you a pretend exchange between Jack and Forrest based on this theory. Okay, go.
So 4 lawyers you consulted based off this statute. If that's how you pronounce it, statute. Okay. All right, here we go.
Statute with a T.
This is the actual statute. You guys can look it up, read it yourself.
So it basically says if you damage something, you have to pay the costs. And so what does damages mean? It's the cost of replacing, restoring, or acquiring the equivalent system. When you look at system, we'll jump to the bottom there.
System unit resource. Okay.
Anytime you see system unit resource, it means anything living or non-living in the boundary of that system. So let's say it's in Yellowstone at DeLacy. You think, wait, what could be damaged there? It's just a bunch of trees. It could be the trees that are damaged. It can be the trail that needs to be put forth at that spot. It could be the parking lot that now needs to be put in that doesn't have a parking lot. It only has a pullout right now, et cetera, et cetera.
Basically, what this law is saying is the park can charge anybody for any time or money they have to spend because you did something.
Time or money, and including maintenance and improving an area that is not currently an existing tourist attraction. And I'm going to get to that in a second.
A with a $5 super chat in your face, Chasing Indian 3D Bronze. Thank you, A. He says Nick Sparrow, K-Pro, and Cowlazars are legends. It's quick hands casserole, by the way. Okay, thank you, A. We appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to this federal law that was enacted in 2014. Statute, law, whatever.
The response cost, it could be to prevent the destruction. So it could be security cameras. It's not just their informational signs, or to minimize the risk of destruction, especially if there's already precedent of searchers who have made dug up graves, made rescues, etc.
But that would mean somebody would have to go damage it or do something that would cause the park to react in a certain way. And then they could try and find that person, right?
Or if it's a remote location that doesn't have an established trail, and now we need to make an established trail.
Okay. Oops. Hang on. Darn it. Hang on. I always do that, and I don't know why. Give me a second, everybody. Give you a minute to digest everything K-Pro said here. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Oh, we got another super chat from the man himself, Copper Dan, just because I care. Copper Dan with the $25 super chat. Oh, and I got to talk to you about Coin 3 when we're done with the show. K-Pro, forgot about that. We'll talk to you, Dan. We'll talk to you. Okay, keep going.
Okay, thanks, so Dan. Now we know that the damages, it's cost of replacing, restoring, preventing destruction, minimizing. They have to minimize risk, any risk that they have to minimize, and monitoring of any sort of loss or destruction or injury, including injury. So let's add that injury part. That'll become.
Let me ask you something, and we'll keep going. But just based off of what you just read, couldn't Yellowstone National Park Service go after Forrest Fenn or his estate just based off the people that have screwed up? The guy they had to rescue, the guy that got arrested, all that stuff. If they wanted to, they could use this statute to basically sue.
And I believe they did.
You believe they did try and get their recover money?
No, I believe they threatened.
Oh, okay. And we got.
And I said that long ago. There was like maybe a year ago that I believe the superintendent had communications with Forrest that said, you need to shut this down, or under this statute, we can come after you. My premise is Forrest told Jack about this statute and said, be a maverick. But we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. One more super chat from Chasing Indy says, save your chat money. Oh, how you doing, Paul? Okay. All right. Okay. We're on to response costs, right? Number 2.
No, I did all of those. So the damages are the cost of replacing, preventing destruction, minimizing risk of loss or injury, and monitoring. And based on all that, when you think of system unit resource at the bottom, it's anything within that unit area. So again, if it's DeLacy, it could be the parking area, the trail, the kiosk signs.
System unit resource means any living or non-living resource that is located within the boundaries of a system unit.
Yeah.
And in this case, we're talking about a national park. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This is the actual statute, right? Okay.
Statute, yeah. So one, it was passed in late 2014, so it's fitting all of these criteria. And number 2 is, okay, so if somebody has this liability that could happen, Jack wants to say, I want to put it out. What defense can he have? Because if he puts it out, he may fall under this statute. What defense does he have? Any person that destroys. Wait. No, that's my next slide. Hold on. So in general, the liability is any person that causes the loss of any system unit resource is liable. It's not only the person that destroys it, it's any person that causes the loss. And I put it in red. Any person that causes the loss of any system resource is liable. Mike, you're going to read the red because you just went off somewhere else. Look at the red words, read only the red words and tell me what you think.
Okay, subject to subsection C. Any person that destroys, and I understand that. No, if I go to
listen to my words. Only read the red words, please.
I got to do it my way. All right. Any person that causes the loss of any system unit resource is liable. Okay. So what I was going to say is any person that destroys, if I go to Yellowstone and take a chainsaw on a tree, I understand probably I'll get arrested, but they can make me pay for them to pull that log out or do whatever they got to do to fix it. But this also says any person that destroys, causes the loss of or injures any system unit resource is liable. Causes the loss of is the important part, right? Or the interesting part.
Yeah.
If I cause the loss of, I didn't do it myself, but I caused it to happen. That's interesting. Okay. Any liability in REM? We know what that is in REM?
In REM, I don't know. It's a Latin term and I didn't take Latin.
Oh, it is? Okay. Causes the loss of or injures any system unit resource shall be liable to the United States for any response costs and damages resulting from the destruction, loss, or injury. Okay, I get that. I guess I see that. Okay. Defenses. Okay.
So what are their defenses? So Jack has this potential liability. If he tells people, people are going to make it a shrine. They're going to go out to a remote location. They may destroy it. We have some crazy birds out there. So what is his defense? His defense is the pertinent one is number 2. But Mike, you read through it. The ones in red are what I have highlighted as important. But you go ahead.
Read the one in red.
You can read do it your way, but ultimately I want to focus on number 2.
This is the defense. So if I go to Yellowstone and cut down a tree, I have a defense. And it says the person's not liable under this section if the person establishes that the destruction, loss of, or injury to the system unit resource was caused solely by an act of God or an act of war. We don't have to worry about that. Number 2, the person acted with due care and the destruction, loss of, or injury to the system unit resource was caused solely by an act or omission of a third party other than an employee or agent of the person. Let me read that again. The person acted with due care and the destruction, loss of, or injury was caused solely by an act or omission of a third party. So that's saying if a third party does it, I'm not liable, but it says I have to act with due care.
Right.
That's the important
the
part,
question
right?
would be, okay,
Yeah.
take this down for a second before we get to number 3. Because do you think that Jack reasonably should have known that this area now would need improvements and or there might be damage to it? Would a reasonable person that has been in the Forrest Fenn hunt know that you got some crazy people that damage stuff and there's lots and lots of issues already? And 2, people will put a shrine up to it. They will go to a remote location that right now is not equipped to do so.
Yeah. You think this was in Jack's head? Is that what you just asked?
I just asked you hypothetically.
Hypothetically, it could pose an issue. In other words, so that statute basically says I don't have to be the one to do it. I can cause it if I cause another person to do it. But the interesting part, let me go back to it. The interesting part is it says my defense is the person acted with due care and the destruction was caused by another person. But it's that due care part because it's the person was caused and the destruction was caused by another person.
Well, listen, okay. So if Jack has done everything he possibly can to not put out the solution and some subpoena tells him he has to, he has acted with due care. He tried to not put it out. That is, in my opinion, he would be, or in at least one lawyer's opinion, that he acted with due care. If he just put it out there and all damn to anybody that has an issue with it.
Well, that's the question for me. I'm not worried about what would happen later on. I'm talking about right now, meaning if in Dan Barbarosi's book, the very last chapter, Jack spelled out what the 9 clues were and the location of where it was found. If somebody who read that book now goes and destroys that property somehow, some way, in some unforeseen way, I guess, or even destroyed it on purpose just because they don't like Jack, can the park go after Jack and say, you caused all these people to show up and trash this place. We're going to charge you to clean it up.
If Jack didn't put it out?
No, if Jack did put it out. If it was in Barbarisi's book, Jack put out the solution and the location. Do you think the park would charge Jack to clean it up after so many hundreds of people go there?
Yes.
And you're saying that you believe that's why Jack won't reveal it?
Yes.
Because of that possibility?
Yes.
So, but then so the question is, would the park actually go after him is really the question, right? But why wouldn't they go after Forrest Fenn when he just wrote the poem?
Well, that's a great, so let's continue on with the PowerPoint and that will be answered.
Because you could even say if somebody, when we did the show on the GPS, people have gone there and left things behind, right? That Cynthia picked up, which I get it now. But if the park had to send somebody out there to pick that up, you're trying to say they could charge us and say, you caused people to go there.
Yes.
What? Somehow it doesn't sound
now,
right.
Now, would they for something small like us, and there's 5 little necklaces.
Trinkets, yeah.
But 10 years of the destruction and Forrest and the Yellowstone superintendent got it on. They argued about this specifically in this hypothetical situation.
Well, here's the difference, though. The difference between our YouTube show and Jack is if Jack comes out with the solution, that's national news. It's actually worldwide news.
Yes.
And that would cause, I would go. If Jack says this is where it was, I would go look at it. Me and you would go. We're not going to damage anything, but what if we accidentally damage something?
No, but think about, okay, so let's say we would go, maybe 10,000 people would go. There's no trail currently. If there is no trail and 10,000 people start walking that trail, not only will it change the habitat, but also under ADA, it becomes a trail. Is it a maintained trail? Has Yellowstone maintained that trail? What if somebody falls because it wasn't maintained? There's no safety kiosk at the point that says you need to do this and that.
Well, you're in a national park, but I understand what you're saying. Do they now have to change this location because so many people are going to go there and try and go there? And
There's
would they
no
charge
parking.
Jack and say, you caused this, you didn't take your due care. You, by releasing the solution, have sent all these thousands of people there. They trashed it. Somebody peed on a rock, something happened, whatever. We're going to bill you, and we're going to continue to bill you. Every time we have to go out there, we're going to charge you. I mean, would that, I guess that's a possibility.
It's a and that's all I'm saying. Is this a possibility? Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, do you see why I said no to the kids and you said yes, honey? Okay. So let me put it in non-legal terms. A person who does not damage property, who does not damage the property, site, location, plants, property himself, but causes others to damage property in a national park can be held liable for those damages, even if it was not themselves who did it. The person's defense is they must act with due care, keep the location private, and make sure it does not become a tourist attraction without the permission of the park. But if the third party makes a claim, or if there's something outside of their control, they won't be liable. This includes security, monitoring, repair, replacing, prevention of future damage, protection of property and site. That's the layman's terms of what we just reviewed.
So let me ask you this. Let's go back to the conference room. Jack and Forrest are there. There's the chest contents. Why wouldn't Forrest release it? In other words, Jack didn't release it. Forrest released it. Because if he wants it to be known, and is it, if Forrest was the one who put the statement on Dale's site, not Jack, does that take the liability away from Jack, do you think?
It could have, and I think that was what they were discussing, and Forrest kept saying, be patient. I have a hypothetical here. He basically said it's up to Jack. And Jack didn't say, oh, you can release it because that's your liability. I think Jack was worried about losing the treasure chest and also getting roped into it. So he told Forrest no.
Or do you think Forrest was like, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to have my family be sued over the next 10 years by he didn't want his family to have to deal with the repercussions.
I have a different scenario. If you give me the next slide.
Okay.
I have Forrest and Jack sitting down face to face about this.
Possible related reason.
Okay, I have one other slide, and then I'll go into exactly your answer. So possible related reasons. Would a reasonable person, I already asked this, believe that damage or increased traffic of this remote site could become a tourist attraction? I think yes, that's obvious, right?
And we've said we've talked about we should put a statue there, we should put a plaque, something, and then everybody would go there. We've talked about that exact same thing. Yes, it would become a tourist attraction.
Yeah. The second is Jack's reason. Jack said it's not a tourist attraction and someone could get hurt traveling to the spot. Jack said that.
So Bobby D just has a good point. Bobby D just said in the chat, in my opinion, it's a double-edged sword because by Jack not revealing the solution, there are so many people going out there and could fall from a cliff to their death. But in my opinion, Bobby, the difference is people are responsible for their own actions. That person who went to their spot, that's on them. But if Jack comes out with a location that I then go to, can I then blame Jack because he's the one who's sending me or told me where to go?
You can't blame Jack, but when Yellowstone has to go and pick them up and spend resources in the spot, Forrest did not account for this. In 2010, I think he thought like you. By 2014, they put that statute in place and an attorney said, be careful. And Forrest said, I'm a maverick. I don't care. Jack said, no way. I have a scenario.
Who would want to deal with that? If this is part of the reason, I understand it. Who would want to deal with it? There's people out there that would probably go destroy something just to try and jam Jack up and just say, I don't like the guy. He ended it. I'm going to go cut down this tree. Let him charge Jack. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. I only have 2 more slides.
Okay. Not interesting. Okay.
Okay, so Jack has said he will not so Jack was asked in an email, have you had any discussions with Yellowstone officials about the fine? And he said, I do not want to disclose that. He didn't say no. He said he didn't want to disclose that. Did Yellowstone make him aware that if it was there, here's the statute like they did to Forrest, in my opinion?
Okay.
There's my first. And Forrest or Jack must be aware of all the public fines, the criminal violations, the people digging up graves. he couldn't say he was unaware of it. I don't believe.
Right.
Okay. I've already said that a couple times. Okay, so here's a hypothetical conversation.
Okay.
Forrest says, Jack, Yellowstone has threatened me for years. This statute would be a far reach to hold a third party liable for damage they didn't do themselves. They never sued me. Why do you think I went back to an attorney in 1516? Don't be afraid. Okay, you be Jack.
No, I could understand that reasoning, saying they didn't sue Forrest or they didn't go after Forrest. And a lot of bad things have happened in Yellowstone because of his poem. And then Jack says, yes, but I don't have the pocketbook you do. You and I both know this is not a place fit to be a tourist attraction.
I'm Forrest again, guys. What are you concerned about, Jack?
Not only crazy searchers destroying property, but also if Yellowstone National Park has to improve the area to be a tourist attraction and security and or maintenance. Jack turns to the lawyers. What do you think?
The lawyers say it's a risk, but you know my billable rate. I'm happy to defend you in that case. Smiles.
And Forrest says, I changed my stance during the search. I want the solution out. It is completely up to you now. Of course, there's a risk. I will hold that to my word and commitment to you. I will do as you wish, but I am a maverick. Are you?
And the lawyers say, whatever your answer, it is best for you not to meet after this. Any meeting or correspondence, it's possible to be discovered via subpoena. This, in my opinion, explains why Jack and Forrest never met again. And Jack says, I wish to not reveal the location, my identity, or the solution. And Forrest said,
you have my word. And then he sighs because anybody who found the chest would not want to deal with legal court battles. I understand that part. I understand just saying, you know what, I'm just not going to say where it was because I'm not dealing with any of this. Even the possibility of it happening. I get it. Why do I want $1 million treasure chest that I sell for $1.2 million when I've got to have $300,000 in legal fees or whatever? I understand Jack just saying, I'm not going to deal with it. Sorry, Forrest. I'm not. If you're leaving it up to me, I'm not dealing with it. That makes sense. I could see that happening.
And that's why that piece is the reason that Jack now needs to make this a completely legal game. He can't have further correspondence back and forth with Jack that might get subpoenaed one day. He made that break, in my opinion. Look at Lisa Marie's question. Why don't you read that one, Mike? Read that one.
Okay, Pro, let's FOIA them for copies of correspondence they've sent in 2020 or 2021 that reference this statute. Can we do that? So Yellowstone National Park, any correspondence they've had dealing with this particular statute? That would be interesting. What I want to know, has the park ever gone after anybody over this statute in the history of the park? Since 2014, when this was enacted.
I wish I was better at I had a couple of the people that know the court listener law, like, can you look up this term or any of that? And I don't have the expertise to do it. I would love to know. Okay, let's go to, go ahead.
The PowerPoint, we still got another one or no?
Yeah, we have one more. This is the 4 attorneys that I consulted.
So that was a hypothetical conversation, everybody. We're just thinking it through on how it could have played out. Okay, consulted several attorneys with the statute.
So the first one said, no way Jack could get sued. The First Amendment allows Jack to speak out. They will not interpret the statute this way. Jack will not be held liable. That's number one. The second one says, it seems a far-fetched, but it's possible. So we have one on this side, one kind of a little more in the middle. The third one said, this is exactly what would have happened. The longstanding history of damage and issues with searchers, based on the case history of the Fenn hunt and previous lawsuits getting granted subpoenas, it would have gotten past discovery and very costly to Jack. Meaning, and then the fourth one was like, no idea. I don't know. The
most honest answer out of all of them.
Yeah. Well, this was the big one. So that's it. That's the PowerPoint. So take that down. So here was the big one. I don't think any of the 4, and well, I don't know. Let's just say the 3. This is exactly what would have happened. He would have at least been sued. Think about in the Erskine case, wasn't it almost $200,000 in lawyer's fees that he got awarded? But this one may have had enough merit that he would have won, but it wouldn't have been granted. He wouldn't have had to have liabilities, but he still would have had to hire an attorney and go through the process for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And that's the point, is even if it's like, no, the park's not going to win. It's just, I got to hire an attorney and I got to go through all this crap to deal with. It just seems to me they would have went after Forrest if this was the case. You know what I mean? Because
I believe Forrest was at least threatened, had discussions with Yellowstone officials about this. And Forrest didn't care. Forrest went, okay, sue me. And he knew they wouldn't.
right. Forrest has the money to go, let's go to court. You know,
Right.
Forrest had FU money. I don't think Jack has FU money. Jack has TC money, treasure chest money, and he doesn't even have that yet because he hasn't sold it yet.
Right.
So yeah, I could see Jack just saying at Forrest, I'm not dealing with any of this. So sorry, but it's just not going to come out.
Totally hypothetical.
I mean, if me and you found the treasure chest and the lawyers were like, there's a statute where if you cause somebody to go there and they have a cost incurred, you can be held liable. Would we release the solution?
No, not if we could be held liable for it. If in our attorney's position, I would contact Yellowstone and say,
have a discussion.
You interpret it this way. Would you make this a tourist attraction? What can we have some discussion?
Try and work it out.
Yeah, maybe that's what's taking so long is they're going through these Yellowstone, and there's a new superintendent right now. It just got put in place about 1.5 years ago.
Oh, really? So that means no treasure hunt should really ever be done. Nobody can send somebody into Yellowstone to a specific location, because if that location then gets in a public way, because if that location then gets damaged or they have to spend any money at all, you can go after the person who sent somebody there, whether it's through a poem or a treasure hunt or whatever.
Let's think about this. If we had a treasure hunt worth $1,000 and we put it in a national park, not just Yellowstone, they have billions of people. I think it's 1.5 billion people come to Yellowstone. But the Forrest hunt got on their radar because it was $1 million over 10 years.
300,000 people, according to Forrest.
Right.
Yeah, and if Jack came out with a solution and it was in Yellowstone National Park, I mean, that is national news and people are going to go. I mean, they just are. So would he just simply not want to deal with any legal ramifications? And not to mention the people who would sue him and not believe him and et cetera.
Okay,
in other words,
so let's go back to Jack. I'm sorry to interrupt, but here's a guy who he has not looked at or touched the treasure chest since it's found or since he left it in that vault. He is somebody that wanted the money. That's it. He didn't want the notoriety. He did not want his name out. He's a guy that would go out of his way to make sure he got the notoriety. I think he's saying, no way, give me the money. Bye, Felicia. That's what he would want.
So here's my question to Jack, if you ever watch this, and to K-Pro to get your opinion. Why wouldn't Jack just come out and say that? Why wouldn't he say, if I give the solution, some knucklehead's going to go there and they're going to try and charge me or make me pay money, hold me liable? Why wouldn't he come out and say, this is the statute? Me and Forrest had a discussion and I'm not going to release it due to this. Why would he keep that a secret?
My guess is he is waiting for, I don't think he wants to put anything out because I think he's more irritated by I think we are in general. We're irritated by the negative comments than the positive. He's dug in, but I don't think he wants anything. I don't think what if he said it was in a national park?
I was just going to say, doesn't this mean it's in a national park, which probably Yellowstone, if we're talking about Wyoming, and if you read The Thrill of the Chase, probably Yellowstone. Yeah. I wonder if him just even admitting that it could be in Yellowstone is an issue or not. But
so Logan asked, couldn't Jack tell Dan and Dan put it in his book and then Dan would be liable? In one attorney's, in one of the attorney's opinions, yes, exactly. If we put it on our show and they could. Now, how much damage, how much would they actually spend money to do? I don't know. And somebody said there was a FOIA done and it wasn't in there of correspondence. I don't know the FOIAs if they only cover the written. I believe they do, or video. What if it was just a phone call? I don't know. And was it between Forrest or was it Forrest attorneys? There's another question.
It's an interesting theory, and that's what it is. But I mean, it makes sense. It makes legal sense to me that whoever found the treasure chest just wouldn't want to deal with it. Would say, I'm not going to release it.
So Hillary has a great question.
Okay.
Why didn't Jack take the treasure without telling anyone? No one would have known.
Even Forrest? Well, without telling Forrest?
Right. Like, I think she's saying, why didn't he go there that Friday night, take it and just run? I think, hey, Jack, I think there's a really significant story that happened Friday night that you should release.
Friday night is the night he found it and got permission.
When he found it, left it, and got permission. There is a significant detailed story that I think the search community would love to hear, Jack. Those of you that are buddies with Jack and email him every day, and some of you sent me some stuff today, ask Jack to reveal what happened, the details Friday night when he went and discovered the chest.
Mike Nealon says Jack refused to say it was not found in a national park. That's true. Texas James says no one in their mind would leave it overnight, but Jack did, if we believe Jack.
And there might be a significant reason why. That I think more things like this, if it comes out, I think more reasonable people would say, oh, that explains why. Like Jack's not just being a jerk. I thought he was just being a jerk. In this hypothetical, maybe he wasn't.
But even separate from Jack and this treasure chest, it's interesting that there is a statute on the books from 2014 that says if you cause somebody to go do damage in a national park, you're going to be held liable. Why wouldn't they hold liable the person who does the damage? Why would they come after, or do they come after both maybe?
Well, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. Do you think that the people that are that desperate and have given up their lives, do they have the money, or does Forrest? Between Forrest and that guy that went into the canyon and rappelled, that 10 grand, do you think that would even like make Forrest stutter? That probably will impact that guy, that searcher, for years and years.
Yeah, exactly, Nick. Nick Sparrow brings up an extreme, but he says, in other words, if I set fire to the GPS solve location, hashtag DeLacy, will the channel be held liable because they touted it as a solve? Hypothetical question. Under the statute, I guess it's a possibility, is what we're saying, right? If anybody says anything that leads somebody to Yellowstone and then that's why the part I'm kind of like, it's too broad.
Right, but would they? Okay, so let's go to reasonableness.
Right.
Would they reason? Okay, so yesterday we had police at our door. Why? Or day before yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
Because why? Because we'd set off fireworks a day
Saturday
before
night.
4th of July, and there's a statute in Henderson or Vegas that says you can't do that. Could they find you, Mike? Yes. Could they probably have had? They're not going to. Just like Yellowstone, they deal with a lot of people that do damage. They're stupid, all of that. I think they're only going to do things that have a high propensity for it to continue. If the Forrest Fenn location came out, it wouldn't be a one-time. There would be 10, 20 years of crazy searchers. It would hit the radar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. It'd be national news. I mean, our little YouTube channel, the park probably doesn't, I would assume the park doesn't even know about our YouTube channel. But they would know about Jack revealing the location. Yeah, that is interesting, please. Oh, Dark says, catch me up. I just got back.
Okay, so here's what I want. I either want to, do you think this is a possibility? And really, those of you that are focused outside of the park, you're going to say no. But could this be a reason in your minds, yes or no? Put it in the chat. Yes or no, that you think this might be a possibility of why Jack is not revealing the treasure chest.
Lisa Marie says, did they ever go after Forrest under that statute for all the searchers that caused damage in various parks? It seems almost like they wrote this for the purpose of going after Forrest Fenn.
I did not say that. That came from Lisa, and I did not know anything about what she just put in chat.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Lisa, I'd love to know how you write this and how we find the author of this statute and who pushed it and how it worked. I'd love to know that, Lisa. I wish I knew some legal people that could help me.
Yeah, and John Ganga, our lawyer friend, also another lawyer friend, says, what if I found gold in Yellowstone and I said so? In other words, where I found it. It's the truth, and I have a First Amendment right to say it. So then other people go there looking for gold and they destroy something. Yeah, that's it would be an interesting legal case if it ever went to court, wouldn't it? And Jack, you could be that person. All the searchers would donate to your GoFundMe, right? For legal defense.
Well, now let's play this out. And this is totally hypothetical.
Right.
So Jack gets sued. He doesn't fight his name coming out because he knows it's just not worth it.
Right.
It eventually will come out. The subpoena had already been granted. Now, if you were Jack and you wanted the solution out just so you're not going to be held liable and have all the crazy and all that, when in the back of your mind go, I hope one of these I hope these lawsuits get dismissed, but if one of them goes through, maybe I want them to force me to say the solution, because then I'm not liable anymore. It's on them.
So if Jack is forced through a lawsuit, he's not liable. He's like, I did my
He's taking due care.
I didn't release it till they forced me to. Well, then who would the park go after? The person who did the lawsuit?
They can't go after anybody because they'd be going after themselves. They can't go after the judge.
They could still go after the Fenn estate. Isn't that the originator of the poem? Isn't that?
No, because Forrest took due care, in my opinion, when he was alive. And Zoe and Shiloh are not saying, if they knew, they're not saying. Forrest, to his last dying day, took due care to not, the only people that would be liable would be the judge or the government, and the government doesn't sue the government.
But if the GPS solve is correct, then it is the poem. It is Forrest. That, in other words, that's leading people there once they figure it out.
Cut it out with the GPS. Cut it out.
I'm just saying. It's an interesting idea. I think it's a good idea. I think it definitely deserves some debate. So I think on some of the other YouTube channels, people should discuss it. Look up the statute for yourself. Read it. See what you think. I could just see Jack saying, I'm not going to deal with that. Whether they can get me, they can't get me, will they, won't they? I'm just not going to deal with it. So I'm not going to put out the solution.
So Trey asked a question that I've really been pondering the last couple of weeks. Knowing this is on the books, would you release the solution if Jack sent, excuse me, Jack sent the solve to you?
So read it again.
Basically, would we put it out if we knew the final location?
Yeah. Well, now, but then we would, but see, people wouldn't believe it. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's the correct location. People don't believe the GPS. There's a shrine right now at the, or not anymore because of Cynthia, but there was a shrine at the GPS location. I think the best thing, oh, wouldn't that be great? The best thing would be is to contact Yellowstone officials and say, I have the location. Do you interpret it this way? And see if, is there any liability? Somebody call on behalf of Jack and say, hey, this is the deal. This is the actual scenario. Would you guys go after Jack if he revealed the location inside the park and somebody damaged something? That would be, and do you think Jack has already talked to them? Or do you think when the lawyer even brought it up, Jack was just like, yeah, I'm not going to.
I think Jack and or his attorney have had some correspondence with the park. And I believe this statute was specifically discussed with Forrest. And I'm not just bringing that out of the air.
John Gango with the $5 super chat. And John and his wife, their kids are going to be on Thursday to tell us about a treasure hunt they solved in LA. So tune in Thursday, subscribe, and make sure you come back and see us on Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Cynthia has about 2,000 shrines for all her search locations. But see, that's the thing, is if one person goes and does something, probably not a big deal. But if hundreds of people go and do something, the park's probably going to get involved. And that's the thing, is if Jack comes out with it, it's going to be national news.
Yeah, if Jack comes out with it, if we come out with it, then some people know. And in the like underground discussions, we say this came from Jack and we get closure, but most of the community doesn't because they don't know. Maybe Jack's already put it on a forum.
So Bobby D says, if Jack knew about this statute, when asked about the GPS solve, he could have said yes, and your channel would have been liable and he would be off the hook. I don't think so, because he's the one confirming it. For him to confirm it is not him doing the due care. That's correct, in my opinion. That could be argued, I think, in court. Maybe it could be argued. He's the one. Well, he's the only one who knows. He's the one. Yeah. Right. Just like several of these lawsuits, putting them all together. But with the one attorney, they said, if you do get it, you need to think about like the GPS solution. If that would have been it, you could have been like lumped in. We could have. Yes. Yeah, it just seems like, so anybody who makes a video about Yellowstone National Park, a location, somebody else goes, it seems too broad, but I guess in those cases, the park wouldn't actually sue anybody over. But you see those two as you're saying anyone that does a video in Yellowstone is exactly equivalent to a Forrest Fenn treasure chest where there has been major damage done to the park over the last 10 years. You see those as exactly the same? It depends on the damage. Okay. If I go in there with dynamite and blow something up, that's huge, right? They're going to come after you then, of course. But if when I say I went there because this person told me to go there, will they go after that person? And does it matter what the reason is? Does it matter if it's a believable? That's the legal murky part. Right. I don't know. So lawsuits, all lawsuits are based on precedents. And
has a precedent been made? Has there ever been a third party?
So
I don't know.
let me ask you this.
No.
Scott Conway and the hole he dug, was that a national park?
I don't know. That was BLM, which
Okay.
is federal land, but not a national park.
I mean, so that statute doesn't apply to that. But I was saying it's the same scenario. Scott Conway says, "Well, Forrest Fenn sent me here.
Right.
Can they go after Forrest Fenn?" That's a legal issue. But whether the issue is yes or no, I could see Jack saying, "I'm not going to deal with that." With all these hundreds of searchers that are crazy on YouTube, I'm looking at you, Candy. I'm not. Just kidding. I could see him saying, "I'm not dealing with these people."
Right.
Yeah, even if there's a slight legal chance that I could have to pay money, I'm just not dealing with it. Yeah, it's an interesting thought. A lawyer, I'd really like lawyers to weigh in. Really, I want to know if there's any precedent. Has the park ever gone after somebody who caused or directed somebody else to go and then damage something? Have they ever actually filed anything under the statute? I don't know how you look that up, but maybe somebody out there can.
Why would they put it in place in 2014?
Because of Forrest Fenn and his treasure hunt.
But I want like more than just you saying it. I want to know the backstory of that statute, and I have no idea. Help me, search community. I have no idea how to do that.
3D Bronze with the super chat says, Jack, you heard K-Pro. Send me the solve. I ain't scared. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, Jack, give me the solve. I'll put it out. I don't care if I get sued or not,
Well, Shannon's chickens for ransom. Is this why Shannon is not putting it out?
That's actually a very good point. What if Jack, when Shannon revealed that, oh yeah, I know where Jack was looking. And if Jack in an email explained it to her that if you put it out on your YouTube channel, the park could now go after you. That would be a pretty good reason for her to say, I'm not going to talk about it.
Shannon loves the community. That totally explains why Shannon wouldn't do it. She's not just being a jerk. She has a legal reason, because that's not Shannon. We loved her. She loved us. We helped each other. Shannon,
odious soul, Shannon, I think you could at least come out and say that is the reason why. I don't want to be held liable for anything. You're not saying where it was. There's multiple national parks in Wyoming. There's not just the one big one, right? But it would be interesting if Shannon's like, yeah, that is the conversation I had with Jack. I don't know if she would confirm or deny it, but Sledneck says, I have seen snowmobilers damage trees and they got charged. I understand that. For whoever goes and damages a national park, they should have to pay for it. The question is, if somebody sent those snowmobilers for some reason, would they also get charged? That's what we're trying to say. Would Jack get in trouble for sending hundreds, if not thousands of people to a location in Yellowstone? We sent 3 or 4 with maybe we could call it 10 with the GPS solution. No big deal. But if it's national news and Jack comes out with it, it's national news and 1,000 people go in there over the next year or two. And would the park do it to prove a point? Would the park sue him to prove a point to say, don't hide another $1 million treasure hunt in our park? We don't want to deal with it. I could see them making a case just because it's Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. And I could also see crazy searchers that go damage it just to say, screw Jack. I hope he does get charged. You know what I mean? Or just go do something stupid.
Yeah.
Because there's some stupid searchers. And like I said last time, Jack might not be one of them, everybody. Yeah, that is interesting. Stupid laws, stupid national
Wait, we have a couple super chat.
Oh, we did? I missed. Okay.
Look, he was just
yeah, there we go.
pontificating.
And we'll do that one. Oh, that's not breaking news. Ashley Power, how you doing, Ashley? Says, with the $5 super chat, Jack told Ben he will never reveal the solve, not even with an NDA. Oh, so between Jack and Ben is Barbarossi? Jack told Ben.
Ben's her boyfriend. Ben Naples.
Oh, gotcha. He told you guys that he would never, even with an NDA, he won't.
Well, so when we said in scenario 1, option 1, is he doing it just because he's a jerk? See, Jack's just a jerk right now. Jack just is a little dug in. We know this in his history. He's not the perfect person.
Ashley gets an email back. It's crazy. A, with this $5 super chat, says, Fenn shut down states in the Preston interview. Did he ever officially reopen them? If not, why? But he shut them down because it was wintertime, you got to look at the context. He was saying shut down the 3 northern states because it was in the middle of winter, in my opinion, anyway. Gross Pork says exactly. Sure smells like they did it because of Fenn, Lisa says. Yeah, that's a good point.
So how do we find that out? Someone has to write up and there has to be court. Oh, that could be the FOIA. Could there be a FOIA based on what was the correspondence of who was pushing this and why this statute became a statute, a past law
What if,
in December of 20.
well, forget about the FOIA. What if somebody just simply writes a letter to the superintendent of the park and asks the question? What if they would be like, yeah, we will go after whoever, if that, what if they say, of course we would, that's why that's.
And I know someone, I don't see you in chat, that knows somebody very high up in Yellowstone. I would love to have a statement of any sort. This is the piece I don't know. I'm giving you enough.
So then what we're really talking about, everybody, is Jack found the treasure chest legitimately. He figured it out, whether it's because of a Forrest Fenn slip up in an interview or not. He was able to find it. He meets with Forrest, and the lawyers are like, hey, there's a statute where how do you say it? Statute. There's a statue or a statue. There could have been a statue there. Statute that says if you put it out and somebody goes there and really screws things up, like Nick Sparrow wants to light the whole place on fire, you may get pulled into a case, a criminal thing. And
I could see the attorneys even saying it's a really low chance. There's not a lot of precedent. It's a brand new statuette. It's not likely. And Jack goes, even if it's a 1% possibility, no thanks. I'm out of here. Give me my money.
I did not see that, Eleanor. Hang on. So 3D Bronze is saying he will not release his next treasure hunt until he reaches 200 subs. How does 3D Bronze not have 200 subscribers on his YouTube channel? Let me go put it in the chat. Through free treasure hunts. You should charge 3D Bronze. Charge for the next one. Make all the entries go to the prize pool, maybe. I don't know.
Part of it or something. You do enough for the community, I think.
Right. So there's 3D Bronze's YouTube channel. Everybody go subscribe. When he hits 200, he says he will release the next free treasure hunt. And he's at 133 right now. So there's 267 people watching. Everybody go subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. He'll be at 200 by tonight. Okay. Lisa Marie says legislative record will show some of the discussion and who supported it. So somebody needs to get into the history of this in 2014, right?
Hypothetically, yes.
Hypothetically, that's right. It makes sense to me. It's just legal. It's a legal mess. And I think when Forrest designed to throw the chase, while he talked to lawyers, I don't think he ever thought there would be a legal mess at the end with the finder. I don't think he thought there was 7% of people that are crazy. I don't think he thought people were going to break into his house and all the other crazy stuff, lawsuits. So when it is found, it's like, you know what, this legal mess, just don't say where it was. Maybe Forrest wanted it known, maybe he didn't, but.
We have what for just because. Now, what a dynamic. You get sued because you won't give the solution.
Yeah, right.
But you can't give the solution because you're going to be held liable for damages. Talk about a catch-22.
But if he's forced to, he could say, hey, it's not me. The court made me do it.
From what I understand, all of this is like, I just talked to the few attorneys. That's what the one attorney said.
Hey, thanks, Lou. Lou says sub, the 3D Bronze. Mary Green says, what is the statute number? I will look around. What is that? Do you have a link or anything where people could look that up themselves?
Yes, I sent it to you. You need me to send you again?
Hold one. Yeah, right. Hey, I just got a happy birthday from somebody. Thanks. My birthday is Wednesday, if you don't know. I am going to be 51 years old, everybody. So thanks for the birthday wishes. I know we celebrated it because my boys were with us this weekend, over the weekend. We went to Chuck E. Cheese for Eric. I got the graded comic book from K-Pro, a 9.8, I'll have you know. And so, yeah, thanks for the birthday wishes on Facebook and everything. But the actual birthday is Wednesday, and me and K-Pro are headed out on a night on the strip to have some fun.
We don't need anybody.
Oh, we don't need anybody. Oh, all right. Well, if you see us out there, say hi. You did send it to me. When did you send it to me? Hang on. It was probably a couple days ago, right?
I don't remember if I texted you.
Well, can you send it to me again is the real question. Because we do want, yeah, you did send it.
Yeah, let's put it in the
let's see if
comment section.
Is it on Thor? Has anybody put it on Thor? Oh, I just
not yet.
Here it is, everybody, in the chat right now. And I will put it on Thor as well. So you can go to the hintofriches.com and I'm going to post it right now and just see what people think. I mean, everybody will be a, armchair lawyer and say it means this and it means that, but it doesn't really matter what it means. It really matters what it could be argued in a court of law. And then Jack has to defend that, just like he has to with these other lawsuits, if they get through or however that works. which is a real pain in the butt, right?
And yeah, there's liabilities, and it's like, what's your threshold for liabilities? You could be sued for this,
Right.
you could be sued for that, you know. And we know Dan Barbarisi has been a moderator on a forum, has been named as a defendant, and he only had a handle name. They found whoever he was. It's just, I think we know 100% anything could be filed, but then some people get lawyers' fees and all that. But it's going to be, yeah.
So I just posted it. I called it "Why Jack Won't Reveal the Solve." That's, of course, our opinion on why he won't reveal the solve. But wouldn't it be interesting if Jack came out and said, "Yeah, you guys, you figured it out. That is why." So there's hint of riches. Go there and make a account if you don't have one, because go to Area 51 for 51. That's a good one, Texas James. That would be pretty cool. I started that with the video I posted earlier. Fake blazes. I know Chasing Indy has a video out about the blaze being an arrow or an arrowhead. I don't know if it'd be that easy or not, but maybe.
Well, the only thing that, and I did watch it, the only thing that I was thinking is Forrest said it's not feasible to move.
Right.
But maybe it's feasible to break.
To destroy, I thought, was the other thing.
Yeah, so
not feasible to destroy, move.
Tree, and this was a like arrowhead nailed to it, but then it'd be pretty obvious. Somebody could stumble upon, I don't know. I mean, I love content related, like super smart Indian Gallatin killing it with some good content to focus on. And I want to see more videos like that, Chasing Indy. Okay.
So A, with the $5 super chat, A says, give me one example, K-Pro. Give me one example of Forrest Fenn shutting down states prior to the Preston interview. You give me a good example and I'll donate $50.
Wait, what do you mean shutting down states? What does that mean?
Forrest in our interview said, we should shut down Wyoming, Montana, New Mexico. But it was November, remember, of what was it, 2020, 2019. And in my opinion, it was because of the weather. He's saying shut it down and don't look for them. So I think A is trying to say he meant shut it down, don't look. It was really found in New Mexico type of thing. So you're right, A. I don't know if there's any other time that Forrest said shut down a different state as far as for searching. You got me there, but I just think.
Well, I can give you the best one is Utah. Yeah. He shut down an entire
That's
state.
True. He did shut down Utah, and what was the other one?
Oh, wait, actually, I can name, let's see, there was 4 search states or states. I can name 46 states. In the beginning, he just said north of the Rockies. People did, and legitimately, I think, they searched in North Dakota, anything that was north of Santa Fe. They were over on the eastern side of the world. So A, there's a whole, he's ruled out first, he just said north of Rockies. Then there was 6 states, because Utah was included. Or was there 5? Then he ruled out Utah. So there was a state he ruled out. And then it became 4. So it went from 25 to 5 to 4, right?
Yeah, but now out of those 4, I think A is saying those 3 he said shut down, and he never said that about New Mexico. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's just because the weather wasn't dangerous in New Mexico. But
okay, we've got some breaking news from Copper Dan, everybody. What is that breaking news?
Oh, look at me.
Copper Dan. Nice, A. Thank you for the super
wow.
A man or woman of his word. I'll say that. Wow. Copper Dan says, I'm currently giving away live audio from that World Series event. Copper Dan says, I'm currently giving away a Copper Dan coin on my YouTube channel. Number 3? Probably not number 3. Or maybe it is. Next week, I will give away another chase-related prize, and the weekend for that, even a better chase-related prize. Then in August, I will blow the doors off the chase with the best prize I've ever given away yet. So go subscribe to the Copper Dan YouTube channel. I will put it in the chat, Dan.
I want 0.3.
He gave us a non-negotiable price, but he did. Yeah, I need to talk to you because he met in the middle. Put it that way. He met it in the middle. Because if you guys don't know, we have the 2019 searcher coin, which is the silver looking one, number 3. And then if we were to get the 2018 searcher coin, the 2 would be together, and that would do something really cool with that, in my opinion. I don't know what yet, but you know. All right, Copper Dan has 20. Okay. Oh, he has 251 subscribers. Okay. So Copper Dan is definitely beating 3D Bronze. Not that it's a competition. There's Copper Dan's YouTube channel. Go subscribe because he's giving away a bunch of stuff. Okay. And on Facebook, it's Copper Dan Gold and more. Okay.
So I want to make 3 more announcements. Hi, Randy. Someone asked me, I've been pushing a narrative of a time capsule, and what am I getting pushed to talk about a time capsule from anyone? I've never discussed a time capsule. I'm assuming that it refers to Dale's email where Dale responded, why don't you put a time capsule out or something? And his response,
Dale, yes,
there has
Dale
been
said
no-
that to Forrest, right?
I love how I get lumped into whatever, because I have no idea what the narrative is. Does the community, I try to keep up on some of the videos. I'm not doing good these days because we have too much of life happening. I don't think so. I don't think that a time capsule is put out there. I don't think there's merit to it, but I could be convinced if there was additional information. I don't know any of the discussion on that, so I'm just going to stay out of that.
Hooley says winning subs versus hunt duration. Maybe we need a leaderboard. How long did 3D Bronze last? How long did Copper Dan's hunt last? How long did our Grand Adventure last? That would be funny.
We have several though. We several.
Yeah, they have several. That's true. Well, then somebody's just going to make one so impossible nobody can solve it. So,
okay. And then there are some additional emails out from Dale about after the treasure hunt was, Jack was announced as the finder, or there was a finder, whatever, after June 6th, that Dale has. We'll talk about it another time. We just haven't. I think the information out there from Dale is really interesting. It's detailed, it's specific, but I'm not as like, oh, there was an email from Forrest in December. I already put that on a PowerPoint. So I'm appreciative of Dale. I just don't find it as groundbreaking. That's all. And then some people ask me, is Jack still emailing people? Yep.
When's the last time somebody got an email from Jack? Put it in the chat. Maybe it was today.
Someone posted on Thor today. They got an email from Jack today and posted it on Thor. So,
ooh, Randy's got a good point. How long did Beacon Star last? So what's the actual date, Randy, that the book dropped? And let's see if it goes past 10 years, like the Thrill of the Chase did. But because we're doing Beacon Star Thursdays, I don't think it's going to last 10 years. I really don't. The group Solve may just figure it out. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I hear Randy's going to go live at some point. So
here's my question for all of y'all peeps, search peeps that are talking with Jack. Friday night, something happened. I think he should share it out at the spot.
Friday night, what? Something happened. What? Oh, the Friday night he found it, not this past Friday night.
I think that would be breaking news. Put it in a Medium article, Jack. I think there should be some details out.
Yeah, why not? 3D Bronze with the $10 super chat says, thanks, Cowlazars and K-Pro. If I hit 200, I'll stay up all night and create the next treasure hunt. I appreciate everyone's support, and happy birthday, Mike. Hey, thanks, 3D Bronze. We appreciate it.
Put his thing in the chat.
Oh, I did a couple times, but I'll do it again. Okay. Hang on.
Because I have my Chasing Poker side. I have that channel. I have the other channels. I can.
I've been watching a lot of Pawn Stars lately, the Pawn Stars YouTube channel. A lot of the stuff I missed on TV, so I watch it, then. But anyway, yeah, 3D Bronze, here you go. There is the YouTube channel. Valentine Goose.
Dark, I said that. It was financially. You're so naughty, Dark.
Bobby D says, what about The Secret? That's still going on. But that one was what, 12 different locations? I think it was different than a single treasure hunt.
And I hate to say yeah.
And what?
The legality piece is really hard for me. When we know now it is illegal in most cases without permits, etc. They just didn't think about that at that time.
What? Randy's got a new video out that I haven't watched. I didn't even know that came out. I don't get notified sometimes. There's Valentine Goose in the chat. You guys go subscribe to that too. Valentine Goose has 256 subscribers. Ooh, Dan and Valentine Goose are neck and neck. Who can get to 500 subs first? That would be an interesting one. Dan was at 251. Valentine Goose is at 256. And 3D Bronze is bringing up the rear. Just some fun. The thumbnail you use for 5 nights at Forrest, don't do that, Randy. That's I'll never get that out of my mind. Anyway, okay, so I think it was a very awesome PowerPoint, a very awesome theory on why Jack may not ever release a location unless he's legally forced to. But I don't know how that would work either. What would legally force him to release? I don't know how that would work in a court of law either. But yeah, I don't know, because we're not lawyers. Oh, we got it. Okay.
Okay, we'll hide that. Everyone, if your opinion, this is how I will end it. If your opinion is Jack is not the finder, I am not at war with you. I just am going back and forth. Right now, I'm leaning towards some things that I'm seeing and discovering and finding. That doesn't mean that I say you're a liar and you're wrong and you don't need to, because you'll get timed out and then eventually you will go your own way.
And you're not allowed. No, sorry.
Well, and then you don't get to be in here and chat. So we all breathe. We're okay. Don't take it too seriously.
We're gonna be all right.
Remember the first slide, silly theory. It's just a silly theory. And you know me, I'm silly. That's all.
And Mary Green says she posted a legal question on Thor. So everybody go check it out. This is the post I made.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go check it out. No, I'm just saying that's the statute that I posted. Everybody can go read it if you want to. What if it's not in the park? Let's go for a walk says.
Well, Craig Carter says I liked it better when K-Pro didn't like Jack.
Right.
You know what? I'm on the side of the truth piece, like trying to figure out what happened. And I'm not saying 100%. I'm just more evidence than not.
Right.
I believe Forrest. That's the big thing. If you think Forrest was a big old liar and what he put in the court documents, I'm trying to sift through how can that be the case. And Jack, now could there still be a nudge somewhere, somehow? I hate the timing of everything. I hate the timing of the explosion at Forrest House. I hate that the solution didn't come out, but this makes more sense now. Like before, I had a lot more conspiracy theory before.
It does make sense. Yeah.
Before the statute was presented.
There is a video you guys should watch if you're were involved in the thrill of chase it anyway. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I just put the link there in the chat. You guys should go check that out if you haven't. With another super chat says, K-Pro, look into the legend of old Ephraim for the solution to the Utah treasure hunt. You did. The bear, old Ephraim. It is over.
But that one's over, guys. It's over.
The Utah treasure hunt, Hughes Peak?
Hughes Canyon, which was 3 miles from one of my search partners' location. Yeah. And Somebody
found it today. Yeah. It's on Instagram. It's on their Instagram.
The stoned bear looks like Indy said, a stone llama. I don't think it was actually a bear.
Carrie Galloway says, drink if you think Mike would rather be playing video games right now. Back to work tomorrow. Did it all for the nookie. Hey, there's the song for the chase. Get it? The Nook. Good one, Albert. I like it. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. There's different things going on, right? Maybe Jack will change his mind, or maybe Jack will give us the reason. Ooh, and I like that new thumbnail you put up, Valentine Goose, of some balls. You guys have to go check out the channel to see what that's all about.
So Forrest, okay, hold on. Bobby D said Forrest never named Jack. You're right. He gave his word he wouldn't. Only shy guy from back east, unless you know something we don't. No, he did not name publicly Jack because he died giving his word to Jack. There is a picture of Jack and Forrest, and there was substantial money put together for photo analysis. Those were not doctored, and Shiloh did confirm. Forrest never had in his writing, his name is Jack. Jack Stewart or Jonathan.
Forrest never put out Jack's name.
But we do have other evidence that brings it together, and unfortunately, Forrest is no longer with us.
Now, Lou B says, how many fake blazes do you think are out there in Yellowstone? Well, that's a good point, because there's a billion blazes. It depends what you consider a blaze. If you're talking about a thrill of the chase related blaze, where a searcher, when they find it, would go, that could be the blaze, meaning it's related somehow to the thrill of the chase.
Well, listen to this one,
that many.
And I hope I'm not betraying a confidence. Somebody emailed me and said, or text, I don't know, messaged me and said, if we know that Forrest made the blaze, and we know Jack has said the hint or the blaze is in TTOTC.
A hint to what he figured out what the blaze was by reading the thrill. He found out the hint in the thrill of the chase, right?
So wouldn't that mean that the blaze needs to be something that is discussed that Forrest would make in TTOTC? And there is only one thing. Indy thinks there's another. I haven't looked into Indy's, but there's only one thing that Forrest built that could fall under the blaze category.
Which is what? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I hope I'm not betraying, because you guys can all look for it.
Well, who put this out? We give them credit.
They didn't put this out. They
Oh,
me,
then,
and I don't remember if they said don't say it or not. You know what? I need to go back and look at my messages. But it is really interesting. I love it. It's one of the most popular blazes. I mean,
we'll have them people come
right?
on the show, and next Monday we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lisa Marie with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Lisa. She says, thanks for all your research and hosting these discussions, K-Pro and Cow. Love your show. It's good for legal debate, isn't it? I wonder if the future law classes, the kids in law school might debate the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt and the legal aspects of it someday.
Well, okay. Ashley said Ben and her just emailed Jack about the 5th. Do you remember when Jack said when he found it, he cried or whatever? And that's not even half the story. Give us the other half. That's what you should quote on. That's not even half the story. What's the other half, Jack?
Backyard Barbecue BQ says there's only one blaze related to the poem. Forrest Fenn did not say if you found the blazes, plural. Forrest said in the poem, if you found the blaze, there's only one blaze. I agree with that. There's only one that the poem is taking you to. I agree with that.
Right. But it's something that's not incredibly unique. It's something there's billions of. I like the tree idea.
Bobby D says if the blaze was an arrowhead, how could you see that from 100 feet away? Did somebody say you have to see the blaze from 100 feet away? I don't remember.
No, but Jack said the fake blaze he saw from his car. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the good question. Give us the other half, Jack, Albert says. Okay, everybody, we're an hour and a half in. Anything else, K-Pro?
No, we have. I hear
July.
So many kids. I didn't know we were having an incredibly huge party.
Can you guys hear it through here?
I can hear it from
outside. Yeah.
We
got to figure out what these kids are doing now that it's dark out.
That's exactly. And
Hillary with a $5 super chat says, happy birthday. Put it all on red. We may just do that Wednesday. And again, we're going to have a couple people on Thursday's show. It is Beacon Star Thursday, but some winners of 2 other treasure hunts are going to be on. And then if we have time, we'll talk about the Beacon Star. And also we're giving away some books too on Thursday. So tune in Thursday for our Beacon Star Thursdays. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. We got 52 thumbs up. It's good conversation. It's good discussion for thought. And it just makes sense that there is a legal reason why Jack will never reveal the location, because he doesn't want to be roped into some courtroom BS. He doesn't want to pay for the BS. It makes sense to me.
Even if you win, the only ones that win are the lawyers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, that's it. Thank you. Somebody said, is somebody going live after? Sometimes Candy goes live. We'll see. She'll let everybody know if she is going to go live.
Thanks, everybody.
And
Thanks for listening to my silly theory. It's just I'm a silly goof.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. And live audio. This is what Forrest Fenn said to Jack.
Goddamn white boy.
There it is. There it is, everybody. Live audio. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Not okay.
Bye.